How are you doing?
Hey, I love you.
How are you?
Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome to Are You OK? I'm May.
And I'm Ebony, and this is a show about sharing honest conversations, sometimes messy, sometimes insightful, but always authentic.
We're serving up a slice of chaos and comfort as we navigate our life in our 20s.
So, whether you're listening while commuting, doing laundry, or just avoiding your responsibilities, we're so glad you're here.
Mabuhay Philippines! Andito ako ngayon in the Philippines para matutunan ang culture, to see the beautiful tanawins at matikmang ang iba't ibang cuisines. I'm so grateful na makapunta rito at makapag-record for the podcast, which means hello from the Philippines! Surprise, I'm still here. I'm here right now in the Philippines to learn about the culture, see the beautiful sceneries, and try the variety of cuisines that is here. I'm so grateful to be able to come here and also record for the podcast.
I'm checking in from the lands of the Ngunnawal people, and I'm honoured to pay my respects to the true custodians of Australia and to practice the art of storytelling through recording this podcast. Right now, it is raining outside, but it's a good day because we're recording. All right, May, do you have a weekly recommendation?
I do, and recently I've been on a journey of reflecting and being grateful for the things that I have in my life, and something that I would recommend that's been really an important part of my life recently is acts of gratitude and just really showing the people around you that, you know, they matter and that they are loved and that I care about them. And this was actually very specifically two events that happened. One was that I met one of my favorite artists, who is an Australian indie artist called Angie McMahon. And I was like, you know what, it's cringe. I didn't want it to be like I'm a diehard fan. I was more just like, I want to show that this person's music has really, really impacted my life. And I was like, the best way to show that is a letter of gratitude. So yeah, I gave her a letter, and no matter how she took it, it was also just such an important thing for me to do as well. And I'm really happy that I did it, and I'm also grateful. And the other thing is, be grateful for your best friend because it's her birthday today.
Yes, wait, whose birthday is it? So I'm going to tell you what just happened. So May and I were on call, right? And it's my birthday, and I was like, oh, will she remember? But of course she did. Of course she remembered.
Well, okay,
And
side note, we've had like a running joke where we forget each other's birthdays for like
yeah.
since primary school, but it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, but I was on call with May, and I got a text, and it was like, oh, your flowers have been delivered. And I was like, oh no, I've got a stalker or something. So I was like, May, hang on. Like, I need to go to the front door and like check what this is. And like, I pick up these flowers, and I'm like, what the heck? And it was like the most beautiful flowers. But look, I'll show them. They're right here. How beautiful is that? It had the cutest little card with a Polaroid of May and I, and it's just so cute. And it was just a little birthday message for me. It was so nice. And yeah, I opened it, and I was like, I don't know who these are from at first, but then of course it was May, and it was like perfect because we were literally on call. Like, this was not even half an hour ago. So I'm very grateful for you,
Aww.
May, for being so thoughtful, and I'm so grateful.
Yay! Yay! Now, Ebony, do you have a weekly recommendation that you want to share?
Yeah, so this is going to be way less deep as yours.
It's not a competition, babes.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
no. But basically, I've been drinking matcha a lot recently, and I am in the final weeks of uni, and I'm doing pretty hard subjects because I'm at the end of my course. Yeah, I went to a cafe the other day, and I got a matcha, and I was so locked in, and I just was locked in for the whole day, and I just think the caffeine was just like really good for me. But actually, not to be like that girl, because I feel like it's just a trend, but I didn't really like matcha until I had a really good one in Germany, which is kind of ironic. But now I really like matcha and highly recommend. I went to this place called Roy Jr. if you're in Canberra. It was really, really good.
I love that you're in your matcha era. Welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you
the matcha
so much.
life.
It's taken a while.
The only thing that I'm kind of peeved about is that Ebony went to Japan, like at the start of this year, was in the motherland of matcha, and her awakening was in Germany. Like,
Yeah.
make that make sense.
It
That's
doesn't
my
make
only
any
pet
sense.
peeve.
But yeah, that's my weekly rec.
Alrighty, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be debunking the theme family by choice. And we chose this because friendships are a really important part of our 20s and our lives in general. And I feel like the people that we choose to surround ourselves with make a really big impact on our lives and are a big influence on how we identify ourselves as well. I mean, this whole podcast was based off a really good friendship. So I think it's just an important topic to uncover. And I'm also really excited to see how we take our own spins on family by choice as a theme in our solo episodes. So stay tuned for that as well. I feel like we're going to have really cool things to talk about.
And May, I feel like this episode is going to be really good because we have learned a lot about our friendship in the last year, I feel like, because I was studying abroad at the start of the year, and that was a whole new dynamic because we'd never been in different countries than each other. And now I'm back in Australia, and now you're on study abroad. So it's just like, I feel like we've really learnt what it's like to be in a long-distance friendship relationship. It's like any other relationships. So we thought it would be really, really interesting to talk about today because I feel like we have a lot of things to share on this. And we're also going to play a little bit of a game and ask each other some juicy questions as well.
Yeah, stay tuned for those. We're going to be covering all things long-distance friendship. Let's get right into it.
Let's go!
So, before we get into the content, I just wanted to surprise you, Ebony. I did not tell you about this part. I just thought it was so fitting that it is your birthday and we're talking about long-distance friendships. And something I think we'll dive into a little bit more is ways in which we have really worked hard to stay connected and maintain a meaningful and high-quality relationship. So this is something that I'm going to do as a surprise, but I wrote you a letter that I'm going to read out.
Oh, it's so cute.
So this is like part 2 of your birthday gift.
I'm excited.
Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy. Dear Ebony, I've recently been thinking a lot about the label of the best friend. I've always struggled with seeing friends as a hierarchy of who's better or more important than who. And I think it's because everyone I meet brings something unique to my life that is hard to quantify or compare. But as I've grown older, I've learned that I can't be friends with everyone, let alone be a best friend for everyone. Not everyone that I cross paths with is going to stick around or connect to a deep enough level to establish anything beyond acquaintanceship. So the real question is, what makes you my best friend? Like any other relationship label, I think being your best friend is both a privilege and a commitment. It's a privilege because I get to be on this earth with you, the Ebony May Bakes. Not many people can truly say, I grew up with her and I'm going to grow old with her. You fill every corner of my life with warmth and light, and it makes living on this flying rock actually bearable and enjoyable. It's absolutely no wonder that your bubbly and loving spirit also brings so much joy to people virtually and in person. And it's a commitment because I want to be there for you, especially when life gets unattractive and tumultuous. Every disagreement, every moment of suffering, and every tear shed is all part of the friendship narrative. We show up to this friendship wholeheartedly so that in turn, we can both learn and grow and keep each other accountable for the versions of ourselves that we're striving to become. In this friendship, I don't need to care about being the nice guy or the perfect girl, because truth be told, I'm none of those things. I'm a person with imperfections and flaws, and so are you. I'm so grateful for you for being authentically you and for allowing me to be authentically myself too. So, we're connected by fate, family by choice, and best friends for life. Happy birthday.
Oh, May. That was so cute. What the heck? May has such a way with words, guys.
Oh.
Oh, that was so cute. I love that. Your writing is just like, it flows so nice. I could fall asleep to that. Oh,
Really?
That was such a nice... Thank you, May. That's beautiful. It's a privilege to be on this earth with you two, as always.
Appreciated.
Thanks so much, May, for that little surprise. That was so cute. I did not expect that, and I loved it. I'm so grateful to be on this earth with May, and we've had quite the story. We literally met in primary school, and we've kind of grown up together, but I feel like we didn't properly become like really good friends until probably after we finished school. So our story is a little bit interesting. So we thought we'd tell you quickly a story time of how we became friends, and then we'll go on from there.
Yeah, so as Ebony mentioned, our friendship started in school. We met in primary school, and I think it was my first day in German class out of all things, where Ebony was assigned to help me out with like German because I had never learnt German before in my life. And so I was asking Ebony all of these questions of like, oh, what does this word mean? How do I say this in German? And Ebony was like, I don't know either. I came last year.
Yeah, I was like, girl, I'm as
clueless as you are.
Yeah.
And we're like, Oh, well, okay.
It was really bonding, actually.
But yeah, so we were as clueless as each other in this German class.
How crazy is it that we literally traveled to Germany this year and like were speaking German in Germany? Like that's such a full circle moment. Crazy.
Oh my
I didn't even think
goodness.
of that. Is that
Oh my
like your
gosh.
first ever memory of me?
I think so, yeah. I feel like you have a different story though.
Yeah, no, my story was, so May's like insane at playing the violin, right? She's just a whiz at it and she's so good. And basically we were practicing at lunchtime for this orchestra or some performance that we were doing. We went to a Steiner school. If you haven't seen that episode, go watch that because it will explain a lot. But we were all practicing in lunchtime, but May was there and I don't know how it came up, but then she literally was like, oh yeah, can I have a go at your violin? And someone passes her their violin and you just start going like, and it's just like, I was like shocked and everyone was just absolutely shook, the teacher, and everyone was like, this girl is so talented. But it was so funny and I loved every single second of it. So yeah, that was my first memory of May. From there, we were in the same class. I wouldn't say we were really close, but we were friends.
I feel like we surrounded ourselves with different people and friendship groups. And I have always been a floater. That's how I've explained myself. I'm just like maxed out on networking, even in my friendships. I don't really discriminate between like groups and things. So I kind of just floated around, was kind of in and out of friendship groups. But I feel like, Ebony, you had like a pretty solid friendship group that you were in. Would you agree?
Yeah, I had a pretty solid group since I moved to that school the year before, and I actually came with my friend from that school, so we were like pretty close, I would say, in primary school, and then I got close with another group of friends. I feel like our friendship styles back in the day were different.
They
I was
were
very
so
much
different.
like
I know, I
set
so
in
agree
my
with that.
group, and then it's so funny that now we're really good friends.
Crazy.
And then we were in high school together, and we were just coinciding, being friendly, all that. But I remember literally one time we were in German class, right? And every time we'd go to German class, I remember being really excited because I would get to see May and like hang out with May. I remember thinking I really want to be friends with this girl. We were always friendly, but I remember thinking I love her company so much. I really want to be friends with her. And so I would come to German class, and I remember we were in this group project together where we had to sing 99 Luftballons, and we did this whole song performance, and I feel like that was kind of where we became close. Then I remember we went on a music tour as well. It was around Victoria and then back to Canberra, and everyone played their instruments, and we went to different schools, and I just wanted to go, so I was like, oh, I can play the recorder, so I just took my recorder with me, and I was playing a violin, and we got really close on this. Those are my kind of favorite memories, I think, from high school. And then we ended up staying on to year 11 and 12, and our school was really small, so we only had about 15 people in our year, so everyone was very, very close. So we became pretty close there. And so May, what has been one of your favorite memories from school?
My favorite memory is going on little shopping adventures with you pretty much every Monday, right? In year 11 and 12, I think we really got into like our shopping era. We got our licenses finally, and so we were like free birds, especially in our like free periods between classes. When they lined up on a Monday, that was like Ebony and May's day. We went to this same shop called Naked Foods, if you know, you know, every week on a Monday because they had this promo called Naked Mondays where I think it was like 20% off or something. It's a Whole Foods grocery stall kind of thing.
Remember the dark chocolate, like cherry coated chocolate? Oh, so good.
Damn, that should have been our rec. Go to Naked Foods.
Yeah, oh my god, I don't even think it exists anymore.
Really?
Yeah, this is May's realization that our favorite shops closed down.
You're joking.
Yeah, it was so sad.
Damn. Okay, well, I guess this is just a story from the past then. Every Monday was Naked Monday. And please don't put that out of context because... But yeah, no, I just remember going in my little shabby family car, just like slapped on that peas, chucked our sunnies on, and then just like going downtown to grab a couple snackies and then coming back with a bag full of chockies and nuts and stuff, and it was just so fun.
And we would make the most of it too. Like we used to pretend to be mums because it was basically like mums just shopping there because it was the middle of a Monday. Like who else was gonna be there? And so we put on like our mum's sunnies and we were just like cosplaying being a mum.
Okay. So we're going to move on to something a little bit different, and this is our little side quiz that we're going on. It is the best test. That's what I've named it. It was inspired by the Jubilee Split Decision series that's on YouTube, and they had a best friend one where they added a couple of prompts and had guests that were best friends. And I took a couple of those because I thought it'd be very fitting for this episode as well. And so I'm going to ask a couple of questions to you, Ebony, and then
Yeah.
we can kind of debunk them as we go.
Ask away, mate.
Okay, first prompt is I am the more intelligent one in the friendship. Okay, guys, we're not trying to tackle each other. It's literally her birthday. So we're going to be nice. This is a safe space. But yeah, we're going to be brutally honest. So, Ebony, what's your answer?
No.
No?
I think you're more intelligent.
I would say no as well.
No, I think you're like up to date with everything that's going on. I can't explain it, but you're just more intelligent.
Okay. I think the reason why I said no is because I feel like I grew up with the narrative of people telling me I'm smart all the time. And I feel like that might feed into why you also answered no. I feel like intelligence can come in very much different forms. And I feel like the skill sets that we have are so different. And there's so many things about you that you are so good at and so intelligent in that I don't have. And that I guess in a lot of ways I'm so inspired by. And so yeah, I don't think it's a comparison of intelligence in terms of like who's better at academics, because you are so smart as well, and
no, I think I
like
just
unbelievably
like,
so too.
work hard, I guess. That's what I've always thought. I remember a teacher actually telling me this. They were like, you're like a C grade student, but because you work really hard, you're getting A's. And I was like, oh. But I think it's kind of true, because by working hard to always want to learn, be open to lifelong learning, little plug for one of our episodes, but I think that's kind of what has contributed to being successful in different fields of my interests and all that. But I feel like you're very creative, and I think creativity and intelligence have like a really strong link. And I don't know, I just think some of the stories you tell me of you growing up, you just like, especially because you learn a whole new language. Like, how old were you when you learnt English?
I was 3.
Yeah, 3. That's insane to me. Like, that is so smart. So that's my reasoning. Do you want me to ask the next one?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I think my best friend is or has been jealous of me.
I would say agree. What would you answer?
I don't think you've been jealous of me, but I think I've probably been jealous of you.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, honestly, I would agree with you. I don't think I've been jealous of you. I think the only thing I've ever been jealous of in your life, I don't know if it's even jealousy. I think it's more just like sadness, is I think growing up, seeing how close you were with your family, I was always like, oh, I wish I had that. And I love my family, and our dynamics are very different, and they're very loving and caring in their own way. But I think just growing up, it was a little bit difficult to know how connected you were with your family, especially your extended family. And I think maybe there was a bit of jealousy in that. But I think it was more like sadness than jealousy. But yeah.
You're part of the family now too.
Oh, true. Family by choice, guys. Family by choice.
Literally.
Yeah.
I would say, 100% I've probably been jealous by you. I think, especially growing up, I was the kind of person to be always looking up to someone. I looked up to you a lot in high school and probably primary school as well. And the thing of me like, oh, I want to be her friend. Like, she's so cool and stuff like that. I think, 100% I've been jealous. And also, I think of your confidence, and you're just able to get stuck in and do things. I think that as well. But I think that was more in high school. Like, I feel like now we're definitely on the same level of understanding of each other, if that makes sense.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like, you're not jealous of me right now, of my career or anything like that. Or like, I'm not jealous of you for, living your best life in the Philippines. I'm like proud of you and I'm happy for you. It's like a different. And I think that just kind of came with maturity, I'm pretty sure.
I was just going to ask a follow-up question of, have you ever jealous of other friends being close to me? Like, for me, having other close friends.
No.
No?
Actually, never.
Wow.
Because I feel like you've always had a lot of close friends and new friends, and you're very good at like networking and making genuine connections, and I think I'm more like happy for you in that sense, not jealous. Because I was studying abroad and I was telling you about all the new friends I'm making. You're like happy for me with that, and now you're overseas and I'm happy for you for making friends. But we always come back to each other. We're always constantly keeping up with each other and keeping up with each other's lives. And although sometimes I do get confused of like, who's this person, who's that person, who's that person, I'm also really happy for you, because obviously I want you to live your best life. And although we're like long distance best friends, we still each have really good and close connections in our own place where we live. So
Yeah, I think having to navigate long distance friendship, it was never like a difficulty. It was more just readjusting to how we interacted with each other. And I think we'll talk about this a lot more later on. But I think there was a part of me that was like, it's going to work out, but I wonder how it's going to work out. And one thing that I really, really appreciated about you was that you still made sure that you made time for me. Even though you were traveling like every weekend, you were partying, you were making new friends and new connections, learning about the culture and all of that. I know how much of a overwhelm of events and activities and experiences going on exchange is. It was a way of reassuring the friendship that like actually this still matters. So yeah, I don't think I was ever jealous, but yeah, I was curious to see how it would work out. And then it was really cool to see how it did actually unfold.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'm going to give you another statement. I have considered ending our friendship. Agree or
No.
disagree?
Disagree. I've literally never thought that. Ever.
Neither.
Ever. I feel like we're a friendship that it's never up and down. Like, it's always very constant. It's not like we're up on a high and we're like really, really close and it's like, I'll do anything for you. Like, I'm at your service every single day. And it's never like, oh, like yesterday she didn't talk to me for one day and now I hate her. We're always checking in with each other very consistently, and we all know that we have our own lives going on and things like that. And so I think there's just never any thought in my mind like, oh, I need to end this. Did you ever see those kind of friendships happen in high school that were like, you saw two people get close really quick, they would drop everything for that person, and now you look back and like they don't even talk to each other anymore?
Yeah. And I think the three pillars or the strengths that I think we had to maintain such stability and consistency is communication, trust, and respect. I don't think we've really had a conversation where we've sat down and been like, how are we going to do this? And even when we were friendly but not best friends in school, we still had like very much mutual respect for each other. We respect each other as humans, and therefore we can found such a strong relationship from that. And whenever things get a little bit rocky or we don't talk or there's like distance or time separating us, there's a sense of trust that still carries us through and maintains consistency and stability. And I think it's all about communication as well. I feel like our ability to cross the virtual space and communicate how we actually are feeling. And like I tell Ebony that I love her. I make sure I tell her at least every week. So I feel like small things like that really do add up.
Yeah, 100%. Like, say we're both busy and it's just like a little voice message. It's like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And sorry I didn't do this, but I'm doing this. And it's like, perfect. Slay. Just that constant connection. It never feels like something I have to do, like, oh, I've got to text May back. Like, it's never like that. I love that.
Oh.
All right, that was our best test. I think that was really good, and I feel like that really consolidated a lot of things that we do in our friendship that just happen naturally, but we never realized that it's making our friendship quite strong. So we're going to get into some points now about actually what it's like to be in a long-distance friendship. It's kind of like a long-distance relationship because any relationship is something that you have to work on and something that you have to really put effort into. And I think that's something that we've really learnt being long-distance friends. So we're going to talk about some little topics. May, did you want to introduce the first topic?
Yeah, okay. So the first point about long-distance friendships is that it is not always perfect. I feel like online we tend to share the highlight reels and the perfect sides of our travels and our lifestyles. But in reality, there's so much going on that we don't see behind the scenes, and I feel like it makes it a lot harder when you're long distance as well because you don't have access to those small little things that happened that you would tend to share if you were in the same proximity. I think another thing that has been really important to share as well is the things that haven't been going well and the things that maybe I made mistakes about, or just giving you like a holistic roundup of, you know, I felt really happy then and now actually I feel really homesick or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's really hard because usually when I call you, I want to tell you all the exciting things that I'm doing and you want to tell me the exciting things that you're doing. When I used to come up to Sydney to see you, we'd talk and we'd talk and talk about like really deep things, but sometimes on call we just kind of go quickly, like catch up on all the highlights. But I think we've gotten better at that. An example of how we keep in touch on all of our holistic things that's going on is May might send a photo of her at some random event. Like May's been doing some really exciting things recently and she's like, oh, I'm out here, and just like a quick message, and then I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll like respond quickly, and then when we have a long call, I'll be like, okay, how is this thing and what went
Mm.
down? I remember when I was in Europe a bunch of times, I was like, I spoke to this person, or like, I did this.
Mm-mm.
And you'd be like, what? And I feel like just texting you in the moment, I think that was really important. And it feels like you're, right there with me.
Like I'm part of the experience kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. I totally feel that.
Anyway, that's our first little tip. The next point I'm going to talk about is something that I think is probably one of the most important things with any long distance relationship, and that is intentionality. So I'm going to break that down a little bit. I feel like a long distance relationship really makes you be more deliberate with your time when you're hanging out with the person after you haven't seen them for a while. For example, May and I, we weren't as close as we are now just after high school, but after high school, May moved to a different state. But I used to go and see her all the time, like once every few months, and I feel like that really reinforced our friendship and probably has made it to where it is now. So I used to go up, and every time that I was with May, it was like, this needs to be quality and really good time that we are spending with each other. So we used to do random things, like we did a dance class in Sydney. What else have we done? We would go to like
Wild
random
adventures.
islands, go on the train. We went to the cake show. We just did a bunch of random stuff. We went to check out new unis and go studying. I went to her uni and went on a little day in the life of May, and it was always really fun. I feel like this was so important just to have those trips and those little things planned so that I had something to look forward to. So it's not like we're always just going to be this random online friendship. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to have a long distance relationship, you need to have things booked and things that you're looking forward to. Like I remember when I moved overseas to London, when I left, May gave me a little note and it was like, I'm coming to see you in April, and it was like a few months later, and I had that to look forward to my whole trip, and that made me so excited. And I remember just always thinking, oh my god, I can't wait to show May this, and I can't wait to show May this. And I'm going to go see May in the Philippines very soon, so I feel like that's something that we have looking forward to. Also, another thing for long distance friendships is that we always have a weekly call scheduled. And it used to be a very deliberate time. Like it was like Thursday nights, that's our time to call. Like I really looked forward to that every single week.
Thank you for that big rundown. And I think on the point of intentionality and quality over quantity, I guess. For Ebony and I, Canberra and Sydney is also, I guess, long distance. So we've actually been doing this long distance thing since
like
graduating high school. But I would completely agree. It's the act of really committing and showing someone that you care about them by
100%.
commuting that whole way or doing things that are demonstrative of I care about you, not just through my words, but actually through my actions.
Yeah, it's even like last year on your birthday, I came up to Sydney, and that was really nice. And then when it was my birthday, you came down to Canberra, and it was just like that effort to me. I was just like so grateful that you showed up for me.
I think proximity keeps a lot of people together, but not connected. And I think the depth comes from when you actually put effort and intention into the relationship. And I think we've done that pretty well. I mean, considering we've been doing long distance for a really long time.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like you see a lot of friendships fall apart just after school finishes because of the proximity thing. I feel like everyone at school is always there every day, 9 to 3 p.m. You're always at school around the same people. And I feel like that really keeps a lot of people together. And then I think just after you finish school, that really shows who your real friends are, because it shows who's going to put the effort to always see you all the time. And it shows actually how strong your relationship is to keep it going. And I feel like you see a lot of falling out start to happen after school finishes. So I think, proximity is a really big thing that keeps people together, which is good. You know, like maybe you work at this place and you have a really good work friend, like that's amazing. But if you want a deep friendship, you have to put in that effort to show that you care.
Long distance friendship has been very much doable for us, and I think we've maintained quality over time, and it's been really, really good, and we've learnt strategies that have helped us to get through it. But I think at the same time, scheduling plans to meet is like the key factor, I think, of maintaining stability and constancy. And as how Ebony said it, we schedule to meet frequently, and we always have a time in mind, even if it's just a penciled in time. And I think that gives a little bit more clarity and reassurance that there is something in place in the future, because I feel like the distance also makes it difficult to determine the time and takes a bit of the unknown out of the equation.
And I feel like in a relationship, you want stability. I don't want to be ending a call being like, I don't know when I'm going to hear from you again. And then the next time I hear from you, you're going to have to tell me like, all the highlights of what just happened, and I don't get to
Yeah.
just come along with you. Our lives are going at such a fast pace at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that stability I think is so important for us.
I wanted to ask you, how do you
Mm.
think technology has helped us maintain a long distance friendship?
Oh, it's played a massive part
Mm,
because imagine we didn't have the technology. I feel like we'd find a way, to be fair. I'd
like a
send you a
bird or
letter through
something.
like a
Yeah.
telegram or something, yeah.
Yeah.
To be
I'll
like Harry
probably like
Potter.
fly a pigeon over to Australia or something. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. But I think it's not to sound like a grandma, but we're so lucky these days to
Mm,
have this technology. It would have been very easy for me just to go, oh, May's moved to Sydney. I'll probably never see her again. But no, we've put in the effort. We're like, okay, we have this technology available. We get on so well. We have similar values and I really want to like see you do well and all this stuff. And that's where being able to call really often has really helped. And even starting this podcast, like the facilities that we
mm,
have to be able to collaborate, I think technology's played like a massive part in this. And even
yeah.
TikTok, like me posting on TikTok and then being able to go to Sydney to events and then take you with me and all the
hmm
networking that's come from that. What do you think?
I didn't think about the opportunities that have kind of blossomed from technology as well. But yeah, I think the ways in which we've utilized technology to stay connected, I think we're very, very effective in how we use it. And I think there's so many different ways that we are connecting. And one thing has just been weekly calls and texting,
Mm-hmm.
checking in, all of that
Mm-hmm.
usual stuff, but also doing things, as you said, Ebony, about
Mm-hmm.
projects. And ours is very virtual and tech based.
Having like a work relationship now and also communicating
Mm-hmm.
on that form, I feel like that's so different as well. And yes, it's really cool to see how it all works.
I feel like technology plays a lot of different roles in our life currently, and we've used it for the better good for our relationship. And yeah, we're just both very grateful that there are so many ways in which we can connect, even if it's
Yeah.
just a virtual space.
Yeah. Okay, for our last final point, we're going to talk about the unexpected benefits that you get from being a long distance friend. Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't really want to get into a long distance friendship. Or you might think, oh,
Mm.
my friend's moving to another country. I don't know how I'm going to stay in touch. I'm really worried. But guys, it's okay. It really works out better than you would ever expect it. Plus, it has unexpected benefits. So, I was actually going to ask you something. Do you
Okay.
reckon if I was living in Sydney or you stayed in Canberra, do you think we would be as close as we are now? Like you never moved away from Canberra since high school. What do you think?
I would say no, I don't think it would be as
Yeah.
close because I feel like, especially given our schooling context and the way that proximity did bring us together, I feel like I took your presence for granted a lot of the time because we went to school together. And it absolutely happens. And I
Mhm.
think I did that with my family, I did it with all of our other friends from school as
Mhm.
well. And then when distance really challenged ways that we could connect, I was actually a lot more intentional, as we said, and grateful for the
Mhm.
time that we did get to spend together.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, it was so deliberate how we put in effort to stay connected. And one thing that I've noticed that is, I guess, an unexpected benefit is Ebony is very engaged on social media platforms and is always posting and always like adding content. But when she's with me and we're spending time together, everything that we do when we're together, we're present, we're engaged.
Yeah.
And we're doing activities that are traveling or finding out new things or just learning and growing. And everything feels like
Yeah.
we're in the present. And I feel like if we were living in the same state or home or whatever, it would have been so different because I would have taken that for granted for sure.
Yeah. When you're living in the same hometown and you've been here for so many years, I feel like you get stagnant with your friends and your family and you kind of forget that, oh, I have to put effort into this relationship if I want it
Yeah.
to keep going, if I want to keep it strong. If you think about it, I don't think many
Mm.
people that we went to school with are still really good friends. And would that have been us? I feel like I know you better than some of the friends that are in the same hometown as me. Because I
Yeah.
feel like we've just put in that so much effort and as we said before, the quality time and every time we spend time with each other, it's so intentional. And I think if you were living in the same place, maybe it wouldn't have been as intentional. Maybe we wouldn't hang out as much or we'd just go get a quick coffee and that's it. Like as I said before, we would do dance classes in Sydney and that was really fun. And then we can always think, oh, remember that time we did this? Whereas like maybe if you were here, we'd just like hang out and make TikToks. Like, I wouldn't be like, remember that time we sat on my bed and watched TikTok? You know what I mean? But don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, when we were traveling, I'd be like, hey, May, like, I need some brain
Oh,
rot
yeah,
time
yeah,
right now.
no.
Like, we would
We
make
had our
time
timeout
for it.
moments. Yeah.
But that's the thing. We have our, like, this is our dedicated quality time that we're spending with each other.
Yeah.
Where we're doing this activity and this activity. And this is our, like, brain rot time.
This is me time. I think also one thing that's really important to mention is that because we surround ourselves and are part of different circles, I feel like the perspectives and the opinions and the values that we bring to this friendship is so diverse and interesting. And because we're not sharing the same narrative, the same story, or the same relationships or friendships, or even like environment, what we bring to the table is so different. And we always have stories that we can challenge ourselves with and bring new like perspectives from. So I love that we both love traveling. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think because we both understand and find importance in meeting new people, interacting in new cultures and environments, I feel like we've really pushed ourselves and each other to think outside of the box and keep like growing as well.
I think before we were talking about how proximity and everything changes the way we interact, and I feel like a lot of friendships thrive off gossiping, and you always see that, like, oh, we're really good friends because we hated this same person. Like, people bond over that stuff, but we don't have that. So it's not like, oh, did you see what that person in class did today, that one person that we don't like, you know? It just brings so much toxicity, I think. And I just don't like that as a form of bonding with someone else. So I think that's like a really good thing with us. And also, I feel like with school as well, when you had the school relationships, it was always the complaining. I think a lot of friendships like thrive off complaining to each other. Do you ever see or like overhear people like, oh, I have to get this assignment in. Oh, now this and this and this and this. And that's my own kind of realization. It's like a lot of people thrive off just complaining to each other. I feel like that's very common in the workplace as well, but that has to do with proximity. But I feel like because we're both living different lives and we both have different friendship groups, we can bring all the exciting perspectives to each other. We're not bonding off anything quite negative. We're talking about our passions and all that, and I'm here like cheering you on from this side and you're cheering me on from that side.
Yeah.
But like we're living different lives, but we're like coinciding, you know, but we're like connecting at the same time. It's like this beautiful connection that I love.
Yeah. Wow. That was so well put.
I'll just go over a quick recap of the episode and some key takeaways, because you might be like, so great, you're friends, you're long distance friends. What can I
know.
get?
I feel like it was just
what can I get out
like
of that?
like a love bombing session. I
No,
apologize.
it literally was like, you guys are gonna be wondering when we're gonna start dating after this episode. But like genuinely, I think platonic friendships and relationships are just so important to have in your life, and I'm so grateful that I have such a strong one. So I just wanted to share some quick takeaways. So we talked about how we met, and I think what you can get from that is you can meet friends in any type of context. You could be walking past your best friend today. And I think something that's so cool about this, and I think I said it to May the other day, I feel like some people are just meant to be in your life. And if they keep popping up, I think that's a sign to kind of pursue that. You know what I mean?
Aww.
Like keep checking in, keep making the effort, just like putting the effort in. And I think that's a very important takeaway from that. Like I was like, oh, I want to be May's friend. Oh, then we're in German class together. Oh, then we went to the same school. And then we stayed at the same school. There was only 15 people in my class, but you were still there. And then we also talked about how it's not always perfect. Like there'll be sometimes where we're so busy that maybe we won't talk to each other for 2 weeks, but then again we also have that trust. We have that trust of we know that we're not angry at each other or something like that, and if we were, we'd bring it up with each other. So there's always that. We talked about how being intentional has probably been the baseline of our friendship, and the thing that has made our friendship really, really work. Being intentional with our time, being intentional with scheduling times to meet up. It's always important to look forward to something and know that your friendship isn't just like this open thing. It's just uncertain. We need stability in friendship. We also talked about effort and how putting effort in has really helped our relationship as a friendship, because putting effort in shows that you care about the other persons. We also talked about how technology has really played a massive part in our friendship, and that just explains how lucky we are in this day and age to be able to have so many platforms on the ways we can connect with people, and that is just important to not let go of friendships just because of proximity. And lastly, we talked about some unexpected benefits that comes from being in a long distance friendship, because there has definitely been heaps. And as we said, I don't know if we'd be that close if we weren't long distance. And I think that had really played a massive part, especially when we weren't super close. And now I feel like we've got that close friendship that wherever we are in the world, we'll be close and we have that trust and we'll put in the effort and all of that. So yeah, those were the takeaways.
Gosh, how do I follow up from that? So well put, Ebony. I think something that I just wanted to say is, and maybe I'm just really embodying my weekly recommendation of being grateful, but I'm grateful for you guys for listening as well. I think it's so refreshing and heartwarming to think that other people care about our friendship as much as we do. And, you know, this whole Are You OK business was founded on our friendship as well. And to see that people are interested and excited for us and passionate about our opinions and seeing where this friendship goes is just like so beyond us, isn't it? Like it's just like, wow. So thank you so much for listening and tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. And you can also join the conversation by following us on Instagram at areyouok.pod.
And we are going to be on YouTube soon doing video podcasts and little snippets of our podcast. So that's just a sneak peek. You heard it here first, guys. But yeah, we really are grateful for you for being here and for listening every week. So thank you for being here. Also, don't forget to check out the show notes where you'll find links to all the resources mentioned in today's episode, including our recommendations and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Have the best day, guys. Bye.
Bye.